Hello and welcome. My name is Trismegistus, and today we're going to be playing yet more space exploration. Let me just check my levels because I didn't get a chance to check them. The game sound seems a bit loud on that. Oh yeah, it should be. What do I normally put it on? I can't remember. That one there. Let's give that a go. Yeah, it seems a bit low still. Ah well, that'll do. So, we have been, or I have been, extremely busy. And I mean that in terms of playing the game, where normally I'd have been going on about how work was just sucking up all my time, etc., etc. So, that's not been the case this week, and I have dived right into. Yeah, actually, that's. Thought it might be just because of where I was stood. Maybe we take it 75. Pop. Yes, I've been diving full on, head first, all guns blazing into SpaceX. Basically, I've sort of got the, what would you call it? The kind of sessional thing again that I haven't had for a very long time with Factorio. I mean, I love the game and I play it a lot, but not the sort of staying up till very late and thinking about it all the time sort of situation. So I've done a lot basically. I guess the simplest one is that I've expanded the solar a little bit. We had another coronal mass ejection, which is one of the bits and bobs that we need to work on this week, with basically setting up uranium. We do have some random bits, I think, from meteorites that have just sort of crashed, and there you go. So we got, well, it's quite a lot actually. I guess it's been a lot of meteorites, and I finished this off. This is another thing. So, well, I haven't actually finished it. That's another bit. In fact, I've got a tag on the, what do you call it? It's landfilling. Basically, I need to set up some kind of landfilling system because the trains are all stopped here because these are all backed up because stone is maxed out, and we don't really have a lot of use for stone other than this little stone build here. And as you can see, the trains are not even moving, so they're both sort of sat there. Did I not set? I didn't set a train limit on that. But then that's the only use of stone so far, isn't it? There should be another one over here in the actual, let's call it production hub. I didn't go up and put I didn't do this, did I? Oh, in fact, it's lost the... Oh, no, they're still on. Let's nip up and do that. Why have you not got anything on you? Because you're there. So I've got 3 unloads. I don't think I've got 3 loads, though. I've got... How many loads have I actually got? I do. So why are you not... So you're unloading there in theory, but I don't think that's actually doing anything much. No, it is actually. 1, 2... We could probably do with another one then. Because if that's there... The problem with it is basically it's coming back to this point again that this is not, operating because the stone is blocked. And the only use of stone I've got is that one drop off and that's all stopped as well. I'm not using bricks. I'm only using them very slowly to make circuits, so stone is kind of backed up, which is ironic really because landfill is something I'm lacking. And I have chewed through all of the stone we got in there just to build. It's very heavy making landfill in this. The landfill recipe is not 20, it's 50. So, and that's deliberate, I think, because it's meant to be a sink for a lot of waste products. But yeah, the basic point is we need some way of getting this to process. Even once all the trains are filled up and the the things, you still need it to be flowy, and that means using all of the bits. So as you see, it's all completely backed up. So that's one of the jobs we've got to do. I might just put a little. Can we do a? Don't want a danger really, do I? What would be if I just do a red thing on there, and then it might stand out to me a bit. I pushed back here, so we now have this area here, and this is another thing we need to do at some point. Is make science, basically, because science has, although uranium's researching at the top there, that's because I've taken what science packs we had and taken them up into space. I'll just put this here. So if we look in space, it's sort of sat here. You know, it's obviously constrained by having this one science, space science thing here, but this is all running. I figured out that we were occasionally getting a warning about damage happening on this platform that I wondered was maybe due to the loggy bots destroying. What it was this wasn't connected to the circuit network. So basically this had filled up, and when they fill up, it just fires the shell thing, and it just crashes and blows up, basically. So the sheet shields that we don't really have a lot of capacity for making, were not. I'd set the limit here, but because it wasn't reading the contents, they were just blowing up basically occasionally. But the point is that I've moved this is all of the science we've produced, and I have deconstructed all of the science in the main base. There are now no red science, green science, etc., etc., because we're going to relocate it up here and have it be space-based, basically. So it'll be loading it into cargo rockets. So I need to set up a whole cargo rocket thing. I will probably use this copper to make rocket fuel and belt it over, basically. As you can see, I'm building that up there. I've put in a whole load of extra builds, so I think that was there, but there's another one here. I'm going to say, in fact, we should nip up in while I'm trying to explain stuff. Where we're at is I'm starting making artillery. We've done artillery. We really need artillery because they're starting to colonise, closer and closer to the walls, because evolution is quite high because of how languid I've been. So we need artillery, we need proper defences. So that's another thing we need to do. I'm going to put another tag on here as I go through this list. I should use the to-do list, but I always found it a bit sort of clunky, really. So that's a general point. We need defences, and I need to push back the biters, claim more space so that we can use it to build. But we need proper military build. The other thing we need to do, and I'm not anticipating we'll do all of this today, but we can set some of it going, is uranium processing, because as I say, we had another coronal mass ejection, and we handled about half of it. We have 1 gigawatt of solar, I believe, maximum capacity. So I mean, it won't show me on there, but you can basically see that we're just, these are spikes as things get done. But you see, it's only using half the power because there is a lot spare, but it basically chewed through that all. I've set up the core mining, as I say, the actual drills. So they're all dropping off here, but as I say, it's all backed up. Yes, and I set up artillery, so we have some shells being made. We only have... oh no! Oh, it's chugged away quite quickly. This is a build I did in my blueprint series, basically, because all of this appears to be exactly the same recipe, so I've just reused that. But we do have quite a lot of shells now, so we could potentially do it. I'd forgotten to put on centrifuge, so they're there now, so we can set up uranium processing, and we have some artillery for when we get to use that. I've not done a build for artillery wagons. I might just not bother with that for now. But yes, so this base is sort of slowly being shifted over. I'm putting in more and more sort of train stops for us to drop off resources here. It won't be like a proper bus, but we'll make it into a proper sort of mall area. It's obviously a bit painful because we don't have proper logistics bots. that's a research that requires several space-based sciences. So, as I say, we do need to get the science up and running, but I'm not too fussed. We're not that far. I mean, as you saw, there's still quite a lot of science packs in there. I could do something very temporary, but the type of things we need require multiple space sciences. So even just things like improving reusability, we could do something like that if we wanted to get into the combat side ourselves. That would be useful to have, obviously. So there are bits and pieces, but we're also very much into the territory of new stuff. As I've learned from the Bobs and Angels type playthroughs, it's better to do them when we need them rather than sort of just have all the research unlocked. What would probably be worth doing, but is quite expensive, would be this one, because we're going to need a lot more power in space, I think, which we haven't got. But as you see, it requires all sorts of weird materials that we're kind of not... Well, I say all sorts of weird materials. It's just whatever that multispectral mirror is, which I've unlocked, I think, but I'm not using. So the basic point is there's odds and sods to do today. I've come up here in the assumption that my tank was up here, but it is not. My tank is down there, so I will go down to that tank there. Yes, so we'll put the modules in that build, because I realise I completely forgot about that. This is not actually... Oh, it is. They're just the same colour. So yeah, there is a lot in this build that is now pointless because of things I've removed. I think this is effectively pointless now. I might just send a few up, but we've unlocked a lot of... Well, I say unlocked. Excuse me, a lot, but I don't think in the grand scheme of this mod it is a lot. What I could just show you is if we pop that on. So this is our list of explore planets. And you see there's quite a lot of them, particularly in terms of the fact that I'm not going to any of these, and all of these I think getting through this is dangerous. Basically, is the idea, and so these are the only ones I could really use. And as you see, I've not been anywhere near any of them. So yeah, we have lots and lots of jobs to do basically. And there will come a big job at some point to completely decommission this and rework it. The only things that are coming in via the old train system are stone and coal. Coal is fairly small usage, so it won't be a difficult one to replace. I probably need to decommission the fuel thing I built, because I don't think... In fact, actually, I could just check that quickly. Open a recipe job. Oops. Do fuel. So processed fuel. Okay, so it can be used there. Oh right, and you can turn it back into crude oil, basically. Or into crude oil, because it's for all... Ooh, excuse me. It's from a thing. Interesting. So we can keep it, basically, but it's not massively useful, because I do have now sort of reasonable production of things like fuel. There's a whole oil build. But as I say, I've been really, diving into it, basically. Although mostly from a point of view of kind of setting things up. Right. It was just a tiny job that I just realised I'd forgotten to do it. Lads. Not having loggy bolts is a real weird experience at this stage. I should have... I mean, not I've got loggy bolts. Logistics chests, basically. It's a very weird experience not having them so late in. So, which job do we do first? I guess we should really get uranium up and running. Obviously don't have Covarex. And I don't think it's anywhere close yet. So we'd have to just do basic processing. But again, I've got... Because there is now sulfuric acid, basically. So which he says I could set something up with both, I guess. Do it in a slightly different way, maybe. But yeah, so we need a bit of rail, a bit of mining, probably quite a lot of rail actually. Let's just pause so we don't crash into anything. Hop out. Right, and have a think. So, because that's the other reason I'm doing this, so that we could actually get some uranium ammo on the go as well. So we got a nice, big old sulfuric acid build here. So I'm relatively comfortable to just have a stop that drops off sulfuric acid. Because it's not my standard blueprint, that. So what I'm thinking is we come off here. What I would quite like to do is to make it sensible with the solar panels. Not that I think they're necessarily in a great place, but if there was a... What's that? Oh, it's a robot. So if we just do that one, maybe. And then... If there was then that one... So I'm just trying to work out where would be a good place to sort of slot it in. It's probably that one, isn't it? No, yeah, we'll do it there, but it's not the greatest of places. Okay, but it is what it is. Now, what sort of junction does that? I think it just needs one of those, really. And then... there you go. Okay, let's nibble that back. Okay, so it's not too much rail then. But what we will need is some... I'm handcrafting these as well, because I've not got some proper production of them. But we can get some more locos. And then... So I want to drop off sulfuric acid. It'll be massive overkill. And then am I processing the uranium here? Or am I just loading it onto a train here? Where am I going to put... Because we conveniently basically have this... I mean, I'm obviously at some point going to reclaim this. But we have this massive Great Lake, essentially. That's, like completely ours. And I say, once I've got rid of those biters. So I could, you see, bring the uranium over here. I need somewhere to make military stuff as well, generally. Just like, I think a nice self-contained, place where I can put this type of thing. Wow, are we already full up with? Wow. So yeah, got plenty of artillery then. Yeah, I think I'll load it on now. Okay, so in that case we just need to build some stations. And we've got tanks, we've got pipes. So we need miners then, basically. Let's just grab 100 so that we don't run out. Because we do have several uranium patches, Got one there and there's one over here somewhere as well. That's a little diddly one. But yeah, so we shouldn't be too bad. I'm thinking maybe some sort of dual station where it drops off both sulfuric acid maybe and picks up the stuff as well. sort of and crossing it over basically, so it sort of does. If I take them out, I have to redo the signals, but perhaps does. It's a bit inspired by the this week's Friday Facts is what of what I'm thinking. Cannot reach. Oh, rail planner. So it can sort of come in and leave from both of them. So that's the coming in, and then that's the leaving. And basically this will be sulfuric acid, perhaps. And that'll be the actual uranium, or other way around maybe. Yeah, probably makes more sense if that is the uranium. So if that was, so the power would be there. I'll have to see how it fits with the trains and stuff. Can always punt it down a little bit. Right, have we got those miners? Yes, excellent. Might just pop them in. Oh, hello there, sir. In a previous Friday Facts, whoops. Hope you're doing well. Oh look, random underground. Oh, it's full of rubbish. Yes, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good weekend. In the previous Friday Facts, I think they said they made the rail planner snap onto existing rails. Oh, maybe. I don't remember that if I'm honest, but I know they've made. I mean, I was talking about it in the video. They've made so many improvements to quality of life type improvements to trains. It's getting a bit difficult to keep track of what they're doing, of what they've done. But that would be quite useful, I think, to have it actually snap onto the rails. I do remember them talking about improving it, or basically saying, well, no, because obviously now it can be done from the map view, can't it? That was this week's thing. But I just, it's just so, I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is about it. It's sort of the way it just randomly goes in. I don't know. So, you know, when you're trying to, you know, do certain things, it just sort of goes mad. And I don't know why. You know, like, and I think that if that's what it can do, like you said, then that'd be brilliant. Because what, you know, if I was doing that, what I'm clearly trying to do is connect it to that rail. And it's not letting me do that at all. And it never does, you know. Because that's the thing you always want it to do, is connect it to another piece of rail. So if it does, then that sounds like at least partial improvement. And that's sort of what it seemed to do in that video, I guess, thinking about it. But yeah, I just... damnable thing. that and fluids are kind of the, you know, unwritten, I guess the things where they failed, basically. Oh, I've clicked the wrong one. So debris in. They're quite tough, the ones like this, you know, on Friday to talk about, unless there's some little bit. I've said this before. Unless there's some little thing that you can kind of grab onto and, you know, speculate about and what have you. They're very tough ones to talk about, which is why I went off on one about, you know, why I think there are so many, you know, rail improvements, because I think really they're actually space platform improvements that are, you know, part of the same system, basically. But yeah, it can be a bit tough to think the thing. That's why it was one of the reasons actually I didn't, because I could have done another makeup video with the, you know, the robot, the whatever it's called, digger arm, you know, from last week, and I was like, well, I could do that, but I think we're going to get another simple, well, not simple, but another unspectacular one next week. So maybe I'll just save it and see it and talk about it then. What am I looking for? I'm looking to see. So where would the rail actually go? So if we put that down. So a train. So, oops. If this was the loading one. 25 thanks. Imagine with SpaceX. It could be with new features of Space Age. Sure, it might be a bit too similar, but the additional content could fit it perfectly. Oh, sorry, I misread that. Imagine what SpaceX could be. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of... I don't know if I don't know that disappointed is the right word, but having now sort of looked at SpaceX properly, there's a lot in it that's like in Space Age. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like... I don't know. I felt a bit sort of... Well, like, and just even, for example, that, you know, where I've got... let me do it on there. So there's like the... Is it on... I don't think it shows me on this one, does it? No. Will it show me in here? No, that's only unlocked stuff, isn't it? But there's like the big mining drill, basically. And it's like... If you're even sort of copying that... Maybe it'd be in technology. Can you do that there? There you go. Big mining drill. And it just look, you know, the graphics are different sort of thing, but it's just the same thing basically. You know, and it's like there just seems to be so much of it conceptually pulled over, and it's not. That's not bad in a sense. It's just I was a little bit, I don't know, disappointed in a sense. I say not in a nasty way or anything like that, but it was a bit sort of like, well, I think it was the Holmium thing that really got me. It was like, well, couldn't you put another metal in? Did it have to be exactly the same one? As it turned out, I mean, I didn't know it was there, but is this gonna work? Maybe I just put it around the other side. It'd be nice to keep it in the middle, because I could just do a simple thing like that. We do that. Because this is massive overkill. You know, oh, let's do it underground. We don't need this amount of stuff at all. That was... No. Yes, I heard you mention if there would be some kind of rail for the space platforms. Possible conflicts. The word when they travel, yeah. I mean, it's the same as, you know, trains basically is what I'm thinking. That if I'm a train going along, trains, even though they're smart, they're also super dumb in that they'll just crash into each other. You know, they don't have any sort of sense of self-preservation or anything like that. So that's my sort of thinking, is that you need some sort of system to manage them, because maybe we put this out this top there, because they got to be automated in some way. That's what Factorio is about, you know. So how do you automate them? Well, you just do them like trains, basically. That's sort of my thinking. But yes, I'm not. I think Space Age will kind of reach its, you know, its sort of final form, as it were, once Space Age is done. You know, as in, I know Arundel's still working on it, and he's got plans, and obviously he has said the intention was for it to be a bit more sort of hardcore in a sense, a bit more extensive in terms of time required and all that sort of thing. So I do think it will be, you know, a lot better, essentially, this. Not that I've played enough to really give a proper judgment call on whether it's good or bad, but it does feel a bit like... should I... maybe if we do... on there... well, I should do 4... Maybe I just do 6 to 4 or something like that. 6 to 4 balance. But yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff he's clearly had ideas on for a while, and that they're now basically putting in Space Age because they can put it in the code, if you see what I mean, rather than in kind of having to fake some stuff and things like that. So yeah, I think for some stuff it's really going to benefit it, but it would have been nice, you know, if it wasn't exactly the same, you know, resource set and all that sort of stuff. I just assume all platforms are completely separate from the others because space is huge, but schedule is probably the same as the trains. Well, yeah, I mean, we don't know. I mean, we know so little about the platforms, and somebody actually put on Reddit, no, it was on the Discord, I think, like the stats basically of what we've actually had Friday Fact on, and like statistically out of the things, it was only like 7% or something have been actual like. No, that can't be right. There haven't been that many, but it was, you know, it was like 10%, yeah, 20% or something like that were about the new stuff in reality, and most have been, you know, about 2.0 really, because they've been quality of life improvements on trains and, you know, things that are actually going to be in, you know, the new version of the base game. So we have very little information really about that. This is because it's in Roboport range, isn't it? Yeah. About the expansion, which isn't bad, you know, a bad thing. I'd quite like to find out most of it, playing it rather than know it all going in. But you know, we know very little about the mechanics of platforms because presumably they need to unload material. So how do they do that? You know, if the whole point of it is you stick a load of stuff on a space platform and have it go to Nauvis, so, or even just the science packs. If it loads on, you know, 10,000 science packs, you need to be able to tell it, you know, fill up before you go, or, you know, don't fill up before you go, or what have you. In the same way as you do trains, which is why I think mechanically they'll be the same. But how does it actually unload stuff? You know, does it pull up in a... Do you need to build a space dock like you do in this, and it unloads all its stuff into a... with inserters? Because that doesn't seem very efficient. You know, for the scale of a platform sort of thing. So how does that actually work? Or is there a little space shuttle that, you know, ferries the stuff back and forth? Or because bots don't work in space, so, and belts wouldn't really seem a practical way of transferring the stuff over. You know, is that the real reason we've got stacking? You know, the new stack inserters, for example. But yeah, we know so little about it all. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this. So I don't know why I'm looking in there. Let's do... What are we going to load in? Let's just do a small one, because, say, we don't need it to be insane throughputs and stuff like that. Swap them in. It gives us a bit more room for the balancer. So, if I want that to be, say, there, that wouldn't work. 1, 2. So maybe there. Oh, yeah, that might work. I assume our platform's going to. No, Holmium is also in SpaceX. Sure, I mostly agree. When it's filling, it's the same. So I don't. It was just, I guess, part of me was because when, you know, they announced it, everyone did a whole thing at the end of the very announcement thing, basically saying, "Oh, it's different. You know, it's definitely different." And then, so, oh, by the way, so I can show you basically. So, Holmium, there you go. So you have Holmium processing, Pyroflux smelting Holmium cable, and there you go, Holmium cable. Well, we know that, and that's a pink wire. Well, we saw in that Friday Facts that the blue wire is made from Holmium. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and you've got that there as a circuit, and that's probably different, I think. a holmium solenoid. Well, we've got holmium capacitors, or they call them supercapacitors. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, and it's, you know, to some extent, what could you do that would be different? If you see what I mean, you're going to end up with the same sorts of stuff if you're doing the same basic ideas, because you know you're limited by the engine and all these sorts of things. I don't know. It was a bit sort of like a bit on the nose, really. I suppose is my point. That it's a bit sort of, well, out of all of the minerals there are on Earth, and all of the, you know, stuff you could have used, you went with exactly the same one. Okay. Maybe that's not going to fit in. If I move it, I'm not sure 1 over will quite work. That is very annoying. So we could try it over here. I'm not sure. Oh no. Yeah, so that's okay. But yeah, I say that isn't meant as a complaint. I'm not actually fussed that holmium is in both of them, and that sort of. Yeah, I say it was just a bit sort of like, well, you know, if you can basically just look at Space Age and know exactly what's in expansion, then that's a little bit disappointing, but not bad as such, you know. Right, okay. So that gets us all of that. We then need to hook up. In fact, why don't I just build these in since they've done it all before me? Could be a good thing, because perhaps they save the juicy content for artifacts for a bit later. Maybe they barely have any. It could be. I say, there is so much we don't know. You know, it's not that I think SpaceX tells you exactly what Space Age is going to be. It's definitely not that. It's more that I guess what is it? How to phrase it? I suppose like the concepts aren't as different as I was maybe hoping. If you see what I mean, it's not that, you know, the fact that holmium is the metal that's being used is the problem. It's more, you know, as I say, I was sort of hoping for a bit more. You know, when I did my speculation video, so I was coming up with, you know, what I would regard as more kind of radical, I guess, more different ideas, and that's kind of what I was hoping for, I guess. But it's not a problem. It's just, you know, it's difficult to explain, I guess. It's sort of like disappointment without being. I'm not actually disappointed, but. We'll leave that thought, because I can't really express it properly. Right, so if we put, let's just put that out of the way, put that there. That's not actually powered up because these aren't connected. Yeah, I have a point. Iron, copper, coal, etc. are so common in all games that it does not feel a derivative, really. Holmium, however, I had not even heard of, and especially in this case, it becomes very difficult from the default metal. Don't think I care that much, and I haven't even played SpaceX yet. Yeah, as I say, it's literally not. I suppose the thing of it, there are so many metals. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of them do similar things. It just felt a bit cheeky to use exactly the same one. You know, you could have used, I don't know, iridium, or do you know what I mean? There's so many metals that to go for exactly the same one, even though maybe it is used completely differently, it's processed completely differently, it's, you know, what have you. It just felt a bit sort of like, I don't know, lazy in a sense. That's not quite the right word, but I think you get what I mean. It's just sort of say, why not just put something else in, even if mechanically it's identical. You know, just stick something else in just for the, you know, just to show it's different in a sense. I don't know. These are probably better coming the other way then, aren't they? So if we pop this on the other side, maybe. So this is such massive overkill. Put it there, or yeah, let's pop it in there. But yeah, I think the good part of it, the really good part of it, is literally what you said. Is that well, you take something like Angels and Bobs and stuff, when it's got a lot more mechanics in the game, they're going to be able to do so many more things, you know, and add in. Because if you say, you know, Space Age just has like 4 new resources basically, and that's it, you know, and that's fine. It's intended for that. You know, the fact that Bob's or what have you already has, you know, whatever it is, 8 new resources or what have you, and that's just as it is. That's not even, you know, kind of being able to use all of the other mechanics. You know, so my dream of having aluminium in, which I think is now pretty dead. You know, Bob's has already got aluminium in, but think about what he could do with, you know, the new systems and what have you for doing aluminium, you know, differently, you know. Now that you've got proper RNG mechanics in the game with quality and all that sort of stuff. Right, so I guess, do I want this to, I could just use the other one and then add, yeah, so if we call this, in fact, if I called the other one, it might just have generic name, you know. Oh no, there we go. So we could have that as unload. I just think we probably want a bit of a logic on this rather than, you know, doing a full and empty, really. So if we go, in fact, we'll do it from there to, can't see it, there it is. So we do full there. We'll put it as empty and set it on a go. But what we actually want is a bit of a logic system, I think. Which would have been better having that tank on the other end, but there you go. So, if we do this and try not to get run over. I did set one up somewhere, didn't I? Already. I'm sure it was this. No? Maybe it was here. Here we go. So we'll grab that. It's the wrong way around, obviously. Or too small. I mean, in case it becomes... not even ahead of, especially in the case it becomes very different from the default metals. I don't think I care that much. No, oh, sorry, I read that already. Yeah, I would say, you know, it sounded like I'm moaning sort of thing, but it was just a sort of, I don't know. My reaction was just sort of, oh, okay, rather than disappointment as such. Right, so we'll pop that in, because that's, apparently I've not got any of them. And then see if we can't work out. So we want an acid count, don't we? Where would fluids be? Fluids be here. And what do I actually want this to say? I need to set a value for this. Oh no, that's a pickup station, isn't it? So we don't want that at all. We want... Don't I just want that to be... Just needs a decider combinator, doesn't it? I don't think I need... Because if I'm saying that that... Oh, I've not hooked that. Oh, I have hooked it up. Why is only one working? Only one's working because, of course, we have this silly thing with the power cables on there. Not being linked up properly. Because of the blueprint. Got them all? That's got them all. Okay. So what I actually want to do then is I want to check that and just turn the station off or on, basically, so L of 1. Yeah, so we don't need that at all, really. We just want, beside a combinator, to say that if you get, if sulfuric acid goes below 20,000, no, 10,000, then output an L1. Connect to there. And say, set train limit of L. So this should have 24,000 coming in, and L is 0. Now I'm just going to flush this tank, and we've got so much stuff. If I flush this, boop. Did you fire up? Yeah, train limit of 1. Squeezing in out. So it might do a round trip or two. No, that should be enough acid to stop it from going in. So that should take it over 10. Boop. And off she pops. And this should go to 0. There we go. Perfect. We already hope for at least 2 more important materials apart from the things on the 3 first new planets to get a really good, to get a real oomph feeling of the last planet and perhaps the space around it. I want those 3 to feel like the intermediary step and not to have the last planet to be just, we put it here just to add a requirement for you to do the rest. Yeah, I've been working on, sorry you should say that, I've been working on the video I've been talking about. It's amazing how much free time I have when I'm not working and what I can do with that free time when I'm not, having to work. I'm like, my job's not absolutely taking the mick. But I've been working on the video talking about the science thing, and that's what I'm anticipating it to be, basically, is that the 3 planets are, proper activities. They're proper set it up and get it working, research all the text there and all that sort of thing. But they kind of funnel towards the final planet. And the final planet... did that go lower than 10 then? It did. Is this now going to just... It'll wait until it's empty. Is that what I want it to do then? Could I do a... If I do send to train... No, I don't like using that one. It's a bit weird how that works. But yes, I'm thinking it's a funnel, basically, is my thought. Is that it kind of expands out and you can go whichever route you want through the 3 planets. You could do Volcanus first, you could do Fulgora first, you could do Bacchus first. It's up to you. But you have to do all 3 of them before you can get to Quilor. We know that from the science tree they showed. Before you can even research how to get there, you've got to do all 3 of those planets. But that what you do on those planets contributes to how the last planet works. So it's got its own resource, or possibly 2 resources maybe, I don't know. But you need all of those techs in order to get that final planet to work. You need the text from the point of view of finding the planet, doing the research, but you also need them from the point of view of, in order to mine that resource. That's, in a sense, what you're doing. And I still quite like my idea of, yeah, you see, it's going to sit there for ages for that to empty. Do I have a condition? Because trouble with inactivity, it's not going to be inactive. I could use the. Well, we could use, yeah. If we do set that on 30 seconds, because they don't take long to empty, do we? Yeah. And even when we're making batteries and stuff, it won't be that heavy. Yeah, what was I saying? Yes, the final planet requires text from all of the planets. That's why I was thinking that, and I'm still sticking to a lot of my theories, even though they all seem to be being proven wrong as we go through it, which I was expecting. But that perhaps tungsten is used for heating elements because it's the frozen planet, and what would the other one be? The supercapacitors, maybe they, have something to do with, the resource that you're making, that you need, to use them in building, the machine that mines it, sort of thing, or processes it, or what have you, and then whatever we get from backers, because, my theories have all been around, getting it being organic on the planet, but I still don't really have a clue what would be the exclusive resource. If it's just more oil and stuff, it can't be that, because, well, Folgor is actually drowning in oil, so it can't be that. So what is it? What's the unique thing? I guess if we just call it ore, maybe? Yeah, I'll do. Right, so put some fuel in this. Like that. And then your mission, what are we to go? Well, we don't have it yet. So, be full. Okay. So I'm hoping this now won't be able to come. And yeah, there you go, destination full. So I mean, we really need the military, because they're properly coming in and causing me some problems, really. Okay. So. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's 2 more, at the least. I think Bacchus has one, a unique one, and what that is, I really don't know. It could, it feels like it shouldn't be a mineable thing, because we've had 2 planets where you basically, I suppose scrap isn't really mining, is it? It's the, like, recycling, I suppose. But you do kind of mine it, don't you? The scrap. But yeah, it feels like it needs to be either a fluid or something very radically different. Maybe you compress it out the air or something like that. But yeah, it doesn't feel like there's much of a clue as to what would actually be going on there. I'm thinking, not least as it's then nice and close, that we basically process. We'll do like the military stuff here. I don't know too far, but yeah, if we drop the uranium off here and process it in that sort of space, then when I've got some proper, because I haven't done any uranium processing, so I don't have a single piece of fissile material basically, and so I can't build any of them because I haven't got any fuel cells, etc., etc. So bit of an oversight, that one. Okay, so let's top up. Make sure we're all ready to go. I was wondering about using my because at the end of the blueprint series, I came up with these really funky designs. The problem is they're all really reliant on bot, logistics chests basically. So I don't know that they're actually practical, but it's a really, well, I think it's quite a cool system basically. It also looks awesome. Where was the... That's it there, you see. It's a bit complicated, and there are versions of it trapped in here. So, I mean, it's intended really for a mega base, so it's probably overkill. Do I have my other? I think that's the simpler one, isn't it? So we might use that instead. Maybe use that. Anyway. Okay, are we full? We are full. Right, let's head over. I did not get any centrifuges. There we go. I guess I should check, shouldn't I? What is the actual... Exactly the same. Okay. And they need iron plate, which we'll need for making ammo, etc. anyway, so we don't mind dropping that off. Biddly bob. So we've got them. Oh, we're literally just up, 100 yards away, so it's not like we're going to have to drive huge distances. Okay. The quality life ones are also tricky as well. Somebody commented on the thing, and I feel it as well, of like, they tell you about all this awesome stuff that fixes little pain points that you have, but you're not getting it till the expansion, and it's like, I want that now. I don't want to have to wait for prioritization and things like that. I want them now. Maybe. Do I want to put it there? How big is it? So let's see. If we were to do a corner there, station there, that fit in just about. It's too tight, I think. So we will go back one. Let's just kill that off. I really like that. I spent some time looking at it on the thing. I really like that idea on the base they had of like a a system that works for standard trains, on flat surface, but then you have like an additional layer that you add on, so a secondary set of blueprints that you can come on and just, you've left gaps in the appropriate places for it to have an elevated layer to it, rather than tearing up your entire base because suddenly you've got elevated rails and you've got a completely new set of blueprints that you're using. So I quite like the idea of more modular approach where where you can just lay down a second, a blueprint on the top which adds on elevated rails, without you having to really change anything. That seemed like quite a nice idea, really. So I'd be very happy with only things they've already announced, but I'm very hyped and I expect such quality from these devs, yeah. They do sort of create a rod for their own back, don't they? I say it's like the fluids thing, you know, where I think just about everybody would quite like a fluid system that was a bit more understandable and a bit more intuitive in how it worked. I think they've actually said specifically that we're not getting that. Boo. Okay, so let's fill this in. They're doing a little relay thing. That's quite cool. Right. So, idea being that when we get sort of proper processing up and running, we can kind of do it here. But my first nuclear... Where is it? That's the 2x4. Oh, I forgot. This isn't the... Okay. Fits anyway. It's just landfill's really expensive in this. Although I've got loads of stuff I should be sticking in the landfill, shouldn't I, with the other one. I say, look, landfill's really expensive, so sticking in Nuke Island over and over again is going to be tricky at this point. Well, it'll be fine. It's just, I say, that will not build quickly because I don't have hardly any landfill. Anyway, point is that I need to find... Where would they be? Because they're not in power. Is it the bus stuff? No. Ah, uranium processing. There we go. So it is that one. Cool. And it must upgrade. So... Oh, Coverts is a bot-based thing, isn't it? Oh, that's got fuel cells on it as well, hasn't it? That's interesting. But yeah, we'll stick in some of these. Now, where could we put these? I'll place it with the kind of upgraded one. I'm just wondering if... No, let's see... If I put in... It's bus other, wasn't it? Okay. If I put one of these in... Where are you? That's... nuclear processing. Like that. And then I build it in. And then I put in the modules that we've got at the moment. How much does this actually process? So it processes half a belt. Okay, I think that's fine then. And see, it's bot paste is the problem. So I'm going to have to add in... What am I going to have to add in? Because I can turn it into uranium ammo now. Done that research. Because that's what I'm intending to set up, basically. Because I think before I expand, I want a load of uranium ammo. Just to help with the volumes of biters that will come in as we clear them out with artillery. So... It's difficult to think of some of these more advanced things in terms of like not having logistics requests, basically. Because that's how I do a lot of it. So, I'm just wondering maybe if I punt this over, it gives me a bit more room. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So let's take that. Let's grab it. Put it there. And that gives us a bit of room for messing about with belts. Okay, let's set the bots busy. Clean that up. Cool. Right, so let's put this on the other side here, flip that over. And then unloading, I think just simple sort of unloader. Yeah, it's still a high trooper one, I guess, but okay. And then maybe set the chests high wagon thing. So if I use this, it's not on there, is it? Plus other. Do I want like 4 of these or 2 of them or what? Let's put that there because that's kind of the highest I think it would go, but I can check. So that would be the upgraded version. Yeah, so that would fit in. And then put that on there. 2, 3, 4. Let the bots do their thing. Random and all over the place though it is. Okay. Oh. Wait. Did I not end up with 50? Oh, I better set it and then I never actually waited them to bring them to me. Nuts. Because we have got them. Yeah. Bum. Okay. Oops. Yeah, because what we're going to have to do is basically swap this out for a filtered system, I think. Oh no, actually, I could probably just keep those in a chest, couldn't I? But yeah, we'll pop on an extra roboport to stop it from flashing. But these ones, in fact, I want the filters. In fact, I need boatloads of new filters, don't I? So very, very strange doing this without fonts to rely on. I think there's only half a belt, isn't it? That puts it on the inside anyway, so they all go on the inside, and then we just sort of use my favourite trick. Cool. So we want to recreate that. Oops. On each of these. So. Last one. This one. Yeah. That's everything. So we want that to be the inputs. Let's do it like this. Oops. Okay. Right. Do you think Aquila will be more complex than the other three? Like perhaps eating plus aggressive enemies, something more? I sure hope so. It has to be some kind of ultimate challenge in the expansion, I reckon. I definitely think it will be more complex. I don't think there will be any enemies there. I think the complexity will come from the combined logistics and mechanical complexity. And I think you're absolutely right. I think it will be power hungry in order to melt the ice, in order to get at something that you want under the ice. Be that a resource, or it could be that you find... Because you've got to remember, we now know there was an ancient civilization there. So have they got some technology that's buried under the ice or something like that? I say I don't think it would be anything like that, because they've not really gone towards that. Excuse me, but what am I looking for? I'm looking for... But yes, I think it will be a lot more complicated and quite hard, but not ridiculously hard. It will be more sort of a reasonable logistics challenge rather than... So in this, as I understand it, there is something you have to do at the end. I don't have a clue what it is, but I've seen things basically saying that there's like you have to do combinator logic. Well, it says on the portal basically. So you have to do something combinator based in order to beat this basically. Which, you know, the devs have been always very clear that combinators are not required. You know, they're entirely optional to beat the vanilla game. Speaking of which, I was going to say about that, wasn't I? I was quite disappointed with the new Satisfactory announcement. The recent video that basically said, you know, this is a bunch of stuff we're not putting in the game that we'd either hinted at or actually said was going to be there. And that's not, I don't mind that they're not doing things. It's part of game dev, and it's one of the things I think people don't quite understand is, you know, sometimes your plans are not aligned with your timescales and stuff like that. You realise it's not possible to do what you wanted to, and all of that is absolutely fine. The bit I was disappointed with was that one of those things was combinators, basically, some kind of logic system, which is not coming to Satisfactory, and it badly needs it. But yeah, so I say it's the same sort of thing with this. That the idea was that, yeah, you've got the logic, you know, logic network and all that sort of stuff, and you don't, in a sense, need it in order to finish the vanilla game, certainly. And I think they'll stick with that, but I think there will be some big challenge, and I think that challenge will be more about logistics, about bringing all of your platforms there. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Aquila has like literally nothing other than the one thing that you want. So it doesn't have a bit of iron, it doesn't have a bit of copper. I'm not sure that would actually be the case, because then how would you launch rockets, you know? But I think it will be really tough to build there. And I say I'm not sure it will come from combat, because part of the reason I think that is because inevitably by the time you get there you're either gonna, because they've said that like biter evolution on different planets is separate. It only kicks in, it only starts when you get there basically. But if you've been to a planet like Bacchus, if it is Bacchus, where it's got all the military stuff, and you've unlocked all of the military, you know, you've got artillery, you've got, you know, uranium ammo, you've got Mark III power armor. You're at the god stage of the game then. So what could they introduce that's a challenge that, you know, isn't just a, you know, over the top in a sense, or silly? Because you either that, or you if it's, because you have to think in the balancing terms, because although you could unlock all of that stuff, what if you haven't and you arrive there and there's some fierce enemy that requires all these mad, you know, railguns or whatever we end up getting, and you've not unlocked it, and then suddenly you're blocked from continuing until you do those, and that doesn't seem quite like how they've, you know, been designing the game. You know, like they're saying, well, I don't know how it works, that elevated rail is optional, or quality of example, quality is optional, and say logic circuits are optional and that sort of thing. So to then have it so that you must unlock this military tech to win doesn't feel quite right. So, did you actually bring me the You did bring me the centrifuges, right? I almost forgot. Apparently the dev Regard spelling thinks you are criminally underrated and thinks your Friday facts are the best. Yeah, I actually saw that. I don't like, it's difficult for me. I don't know if it's a British thing or what have you, but compliments are quite difficult for me to take, and it was quite nice to see that. He followed me on YouTube as well, actually. I don't think he follows me on Twitter, but But yeah, I saw it. He said, you know, he did a follow on YouTube, and yeah, it's always nice to see people enjoy the videos, whoever they are. But yeah, I did actually see that. Okay, so I need to swap these modules out, don't I would say one of the things, and I say it's difficult. I was chatting with it, so I play multiplayer with a friend, and he kind of knows that he knows me in a sense, and it's a little difficult sometimes to. I forgot to build these inserters, didn't I? To talk about certain things because it sounds like sour grapes, but I'm quite an analytical person, so I tend to look at things. I mean, it's what my job it was for years. It was, you know, I've done software dev. I'm that type of person who just tries to understand a system. I mean, it's why I love this game. You know, it's about understanding how things work, and something like the YouTube algorithm, you know, and how that works is just a fascinating puzzle box that, you know, is it fun to unpick? It's not that I'm sort of, you know, trying to game the algorithm or anything like that, but just understanding like the logic of how it's been put together is just sort of interesting and fun. But it is sometimes odd when you've basically got exactly the same video as somebody else, and they get, you know, 1,000 views within an hour, and you get, you know, 100. And I'm just delighted that I get 100, you know. But it is sometimes a bit strange, and you're sort of sat there going, but why is that video getting so many more recommends and stuff when it's, you know, exactly the same thing, you know. And I say it's because of how that works, the algorithm, how it's sort of attuned to what videos people would actually click on. And of course it's based on the load of history that person has, you know. You know, they always clicked on this person's video, so we'll show them that person's video again. And it's not actually necessarily a problem with your video as such, so much as, you know, the pattern that person has already established, you know. But yeah, it can be a bit weird to be sat there going, but my video is exactly the same thing. Why have they got, you know, 1,000 clicks? Okay, so we have got super basic uranium. I'm thinking that maybe I should put some in a chest as well, so that we've got some for processing. But we basically need to let this run through and do the whole 238, and then we can actually do, you know, power and stuff like that. Is there a train coming at all? Yeah. Could probably do with some stack inserters, couldn't it? Anyway, that's fine. That is fine. Too bad about Satisfactory. I haven't seen that yet. They basically never answer any questions in the Q&A, so I stopped watching them. I don't think I've seen like clips from the Q&A. I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched it. They do it every week, don't they? It's quite a good idea as a sort of engagement tool, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me they don't answer questions. Oh, Monkey on Strike. I know you have hate compliments, so let me give you another. I think I look quite often in your stream. It's very relaxing and fun to watch. You are a great stream. Oh, thank you very much, Monkey on Strike. That's very much appreciated. But I say it does make me. It's I say it's a little embarrassing to read that sort of thing out. But thank you very much. That's very kind. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not. Again, I'd sometimes say this thing. I don't like to sound like, you know, cliched gamer, complains about everything. So I try to temper it. I'm not, it's a video game. It doesn't matter in a sense. But I think logic was one of the things I was really hoping would come into Satisfactory, because some of the things you have to do are just not fun in a sense. They're a bit painful with how the game is currently set up. Very much, and things like what would be a good example? Managing the trains, really, because the train system is so clunky is not quite the right word, but it's not. I can lay, bots can lay it down instantaneously, but I can lay down a railway track in seconds in Factorio. Putting one down in Satisfactory requires hours and hours and hours of time and planning and blah 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 blah. So to then not be able to set, even the very simple and crappy logic that I do, just to set this so that it'll only accept one train or what have you. Not to have that at all is difficult, because then it means that all of your builds have got to be ridiculously oversized, or everything takes a million hours. That's my problem with it, with not having it, because the other way would be completely rebalancing the game, of saying, well, you don't need whatever it was, 10,000 supercomputers for the final objective. So they could do that, but yeah, I sort of got to the stage where with my playthrough that I streamed, where I was a bit sort of this is just unfun doing it at this scale and this clunky, basically. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that, I must say. So it's not going to stop me playing it again and giving it a go, sort of thing. But I would love to have had that tool in that game, I think. Right, so I've lost track of where I am. I'm trying to make uranium ammo, aren't I? Yes. Yes, I'm waiting for... We've got 1 bit. In fact, we've got 6. Wow. Superb. Right, yes, so we need uranium ammo, and I have probably got somewhere, since this doesn't look like it's different to vanilla, I have probably got... Would it be in here? That is not... There we go. What's this? What is this? That is designed for adding on to the military science, I think, isn't it? So we could rework that. I don't think there's much point, is there? Because it's designed for blue belts and it won't work with it. So it's just, I might as well just build it from scratch, I guess. Okay, let's not do that. That's a bit annoying. I've looked into Foundry. I did play... I think I've missed a comment from the centre as well. I think I've realised that what I'd like for Aquila, or the end game in some way, to be a multi-pronged goal. Like I kind of get bored with solving one issue. That's a very good suggestion, actually. So, as in, you've got to sort of solve 3 sort of big problems rather than just the one. That might be quite interesting, actually. I still really like my idea of either building a sort of a super spaceship, a proper intergalactic spanning type of spaceship, so that you can get home. I don't think they'll actually do it, and I think I said this in my speculation video, where because it gives a proper ending to the game. If you've got a big spaceship and you go home, you're not going to keep building your mega factory. you know, obviously they could. It could be a new game plus type of thing, but you know, in reality, you'd probably want the game to stop there and do something else. But I think the idea of portals would work better with that, so that you build, you know, a set of portals between the planets, and then you could just say, right, if you want to build 50 portals, you can build 50 portals. And you know, you could put them all around your base and what have you, and then you could also build one gigantic one that is the end of the game. You know, that is the that you know is your route home, as it were. But what it also gives you is this extra science pack. You know, so it gives you a portal science pack, and that lets you do infinite research basically. So I really still like that idea. But one of the reasons I quite liked it is almost for that, because what you could say is that, you know, if you're building a spaceship, it could be that one challenge is to build the hull, you know, the actual structure, the infrastructure of building the actual spaceship itself. Another challenge is to say build the, you know, life support modules, and that works completely differently. Or maybe it's cryo sleep. You know, you have to build yourself a cryo chamber or something like that. And then you could have several challenges like that. So the engines, you know, warp engines or something like that. That could be a separate type of system that you need to build. So I don't actually think it will be any of those because it's too big, basically. But it feels like, you know, you're saying about SpaceX, you know, the future of that. I think that's the type of thing a mod could add, where it takes these new systems, new planets, and built-in, you know, ways of doing things, and kind of converts them into a, you know, here's building a spaceship, you know, to take you back home, sort of thing. Yes, Foundry. So Foundry's the one where it looks like Minecraft, isn't it? Is that the one? Is that Foundry? Let me just take a look. Foundry. Yes, they announced the release date, didn't they? Yes, 20. No, that was the. Yes, I did play that. I didn't get too far with it because they did a Steam Next Fest. I think they were part of that. It did seem interesting. I wasn't sure about the look of it, if I was honest. That was my only sort of, you know, I'm not sure about this type of thing. I never really. I've not played Minecraft a great deal, and it's very, you know, blocks and things like that. So yeah, if I could get used to that, then it did look quite interesting. Did this have lights on it? Yes. Okay. Right. So what do we want to try and do? I guess we actually want to load it onto a. I'm trying to think, like, in multiple dimensions, because I need to build something that's kind of going to work for wool resupply. So what? Maybe if I work backwards in that sense, because I got my other blueprint, which is doing the artillery stuff already set up, but I'd obviously quite like to move all the military together so that I can, say, kind of restock wars and stuff like that. So maybe if we say that again, I got loads of designs, but they're all bot based, and I can't really do that in this. You see, we're getting just loads of attacks coming in. Because that one's set itself down. I tend to always leave these. I always used to think, and it doesn't actually appear to be true, that if there's a set of worms in an area, they don't recolonise it. But I think they do. Maybe they don't recolonise the exact point, but I don't think they factor it into their colonisation. Because you notice these are worms where I've eliminated the nests, and they've spawned right next to them. Not spawned, but, you know, colonised next to it. But yeah. So, what we want to do then is we probably want to work backwards. So, if we grab that, and then we say, maybe give ourselves a bit of space. Let's see, there. And then we'll put a... because I think we probably want a couple of wall supply. I've lost the station. There it is. You know, have a couple stacked up on the end there. I'm going to enjoy, like, redoing. I was thinking about my aesthetic series, because I still love the concept of that, but it just got so overblown and complicated that, you know, having realised it was going to take me my entire life to finish it, and then they announced an expansion that would make it all, you know, pointless and redundant, I sort of killed it off. But I still really think that's a series I'd love to do. So, what am I actually going to put on this train then? I guess... So, how big? I mean, I can landfill this up. I've got loads of room. So maybe I don't worry about it too much. Because what do we need to drop? We need to drop off a load of stuff, don't we? Or I'm being very indecisive and I'm not sure why. So we need iron plate for that anyway. And we know that the fuel canisters need iron plate as well. But then we also need steel and copper. And we've got the uranium. So we would need steel, copper, and iron plate. So that's 3 things to drop off. So don't really even have room for that then, do we? No, I don't think this is the military area. I think it's too small. So instead, we'll just make uranium ammo and stick it on a train. And I think what we therefore probably want to do is pop that in and maybe have the ammo here. Who the heck organised this blueprint set? Yeah, so this is just going to be an ammo train. And then we can come and rethink it later. Yeah, I think that works. And then if I move this down, get rid of that bit. So we can have like iron, copper, and steel. Yeah, let's do that. So I've only seen a couple of clips from Foundry, but I think the voxel-based world could be quite nice to build with. Some quirks with the freeform mechanic and Satisfactory are annoying, but I'm not sure if it's better or worse. Oh! Did I put that down, or have I just killed a train? What are you? sure. Yeah, it's quite. I mean, it's infinite, isn't it? It's like a. Although Minecraft isn't technically infinite, so maybe it isn't infinite either. But I think it's meant to be like a, you know, properly procedurally generated infinite world, effectively. Yeah, it did look interesting. I quite like the. It starts off like from the beginning with a. I think it was a while ago, and I only played the thing, but it sort of starts straight off with a sort of a. No, maybe I want to keep that one. Like a logic-based system, so it's, you know, you're sort of ordering up, you know, amounts of things and stuff like that. I think that's sort of how it worked. So I only played it for a bit. Okay. I've ended up with a random bit of rail there. Oops. Oh, hello, Night Raven. Are you doing okay? You placed that train down, don't worry about it. Okay, cool. I thought I'd set it up and it'd come in and I'd sort of deconstructed it. Okay. Yeah. So, what we'll do is we'll have a little build here. Down the bottom. I'll have to do all the maths on it. And then I'll have it go across there and load in, basically. So I might actually shorten this. Like that. Because we're not going to be stacking hundreds of them up. It's just literally train full of bullets. And maybe I'll put the artillery in it myself, as it were. Okay, so we need this to be one of the. I guess maybe iron plate first. Be a matter. Excuse me, and then copper plate, and then. Or maybe this should be the copper plate. Yeah, make that the copper plate. And then make that steel. And I'll just set a limit on. I'm doing this backwards, like Goverick was saying. If this was some mega base, we'd have had 1 million trains turning up by now. Right, so we then want a very low volume unloader. Because we just want to make a bit of ammo. Boot. That. Oh, it's 20 to 5. I guess I should. I'm trying to remember to mention it a few times for people who kind of don't watch Warstream or watch a bit of it. But next week I am away for Easter, so I will not be streaming. I will do the Friday Facts video, but when I get back, basically I'm away on the Friday as well, so I'll actually probably be travelling actually when they publish it, so there will not be a Friday Facts video. So knowing my luck, it will be an amazing super duper detailed one where, you know, I could have got 1 million viewers and all of that sort of stuff. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be another quality of life simple one. They seem to be having a bit of a pattern of or maybe, and I would actually quite like this, maybe it'll be a super techie one, explaining how Arundel did the like the map design on Falgora. I actually thought that's what we were going to get. I didn't think we would get a Nalvis rework at all. And I thought we'd get some details on how he did, Falgora, how he did that whole, you know, rework, like in more technical detail, like the noise algorithms and stuff. I know it's funny sometimes. You get some of them. They'll just. Yeah, I say we got that amazingly detailed one on the noise algorithm. And then what was the other one the other week where it was like they just literally some massively complicated technical thing and they were just like, oh yeah, we did this thing. It would have been nice to have a bit more detail, please. So sometimes it's just like drowns you in the tech, and then other times it's just dropped as an idle comment. Right, so I guess this is then going to be, for now, ammo load. So we want it to be them. Cool, and then later on, in the dim and distant future, we can do something there, but I was going to head back to the main base because I probably need more inserters. Okay, let's just pop this in. So this needs to be loading. Like so. Pop it there. Okay, so we'll nip back as it's just down the way. Oops. So hopefully we'll get the recycling thing set up. What I'm actually thinking about with that is maybe sending the train somewhere, because there is this weird sort of thing in the. Let's have a look at it, see if I can work it out again. Because I looked before where, in fact, would it be better to do it in there? Where, because you can turn. It's to do with a scrap, basically. Because what you can do is this scrap recycling, and it, gives you these, raw products, basically. But scrap, you can make out of all sorts of stuff. Product of scrap decontamination, scrap polarization data. We see it's a great big list of. I mean, they're all cards and stuff on this, aren't they? You see, because I noticed this, because basically we could use delivery cannons, because we've got a load of scrap in space already, and we can recycle that scrap into more raw stuff. And although a lot of it's tiny, the point is that if I'm going to be going off and working on some other planet for, well, what's about to take me like 300 hours just to get the next recipe, then we could have that system just chugging away, not getting itself blocked. But we can also turn scrap just into landfill, rather than recycle it. And we can make landfill out of all of these as well. I think I need to come back to this and think about it again, because so can I turn... I've got lost now. Where was scrap? Ingredient in. So product of scrap decontamination. Compromised space capsule. I'm just wondering, you see, can't you scrap? Because we get it from there as well, which is how I'm thinking of doing the fuel, isn't it? So because I think this facility kind of needs to be a sort of a multi-purpose one. But am I getting too far? Because can't I turn other things into scrap? I thought there were other scrap. Yeah, here you go. So why does that not show in recipe book? Scrap decontamination. Scrap cargo pods. Product of. Canister. Doesn't list them, does it? Yeah. Because what I could do, you see, bizarrely, is build something, like a power pole, or something that requires. So there you go. Big electric poles require concrete, which is stone and iron ore, copper cable, steel, which is iron, and an iron stick, which is iron. So we could make them. Oh no! If you scrap them, you get products back. You don't get scrap. Okay. That's why it's not listing them. Oh, I thought you got actual scrap. I think we might be full, so we can go back. You don't get scrap. Okay. Because what I was thinking is we basically do a weird thing where we turn, the excess into something that we then turn into scrap, that we then turn back into raw products, and it's just like a loop basically. Now it's a loop with a loss, but we want that lost so that we can keep everything flowing. But that doesn't work, does it? Because these don't turn into scrap. They turn into, you get the products back basically, or some of them anyway. Okay, so that's not going to work, is it? I guess I can just stick it all in landfill then. Okay. Are we full? Yeah, we're full. Okay. Let's pop it here. Boop. So, how much do we actually want to make? How much can we make? These will presumably take speed modules. So this would pump out not even a percentage of about. Okay. So, oops. If we had, double that, what do we get then? 0.056 of about. Okay. And what would we need? We would need several. Just, I'm thinking more in terms of what will fit in this space, really, rather than what's a good volume. So we've got too many, so 4 will support more than that. In fact, how many do we need? Just the 2? So it would be 3. So if we had, say, double this, which pretty much fills the space we've got, then double this. Should hopefully be right. 1.2 extra. Okay. Not right then. So slightly too many. Okay. but we would then need how many regular ammos? Let's put some speeds in there as well. In fact, given that's so small, is it worth bothering with the speeds? Like 7 years, so we'd only need 2 more to get us to what we need. Yep, that's enough. And then for this one, how many do we need? So that's fine. More than fine, in fact. Okay. So that kind of fits nicely in that gap. Don't really need all 4 of these lanes, though, do we? I don't think. No. 0.1 of a belt. What are these actually producing? 0.2 of a belt, basically. So I can get rid of all of this. Don't need to bother. Especially since, as I mentioned, we probably want to stick this somewhere. Not meaning the sun doesn't shine, but we need to be recycling it at some point. Not recycling it, coverexing it at some point. So let's just have a row. Let's do it with that power pole there. Like that. In fact, that's nice. Nicely line it up. Look, make it look like it's vaguely deliberate. And just have a whole bunch of storage chests. Like so. Just kind of store some of it so that we can get Covrex on the go when we're ready. And we'll just have the one. Oops. Always gives me a moment of fear running past a train that's sat there. Okay. What else do you need? You just need red ammo, don't you? So we will have you coming down the middle. How far up do I actually... If we move it a little bit further up. There maybe? Yeah, that should work. And then we want... Because that gives us a bit of building room. What do I actually want to do with this? Because it wasn't even half a belt of either, was it? No, nowhere near. So we could have a mixed belt. Say on that side. Somebody's put a load of trees in the way. Okay, so this is our output, isn't it? We'll have that going that way. This is starting to feel even more and more temporary as I go along, to be honest with you. I was intending this when I started it as a... Right, well this is military and it's built it once, it's done, etc, etc. But this just gets more and more improv and, put together as we go, which is fine, but... So it wasn't quite what I was expecting. So, if we anticipate maybe I do come in and put some bacons in, but... I don't even know how bacons work in this game properly. This mod. So, turn it around. Put that there. Yeah, put that there. Like so. And then you just need copper and yellow ammo. You also need an output, so let's do like that. And we can use a filtered splitter here, because then we can have this. In fact, that's in the right place, isn't it? These meteorites are weird because they're like there, but they're not there. You can drive through them and stuff. I find it a bit like it sort of breaks my brain a bit. That should be the other way around. And it only needs to go to there. So, idea being, this will be the... Well, let's check actually. Ah, so we do need it ever so slightly over. I guess I could maybe use red belt. Because my thought was basically we have this be the ammo going out on that side, and then we can just block the yellow ammo from passing around, and it goes onto there. So then all of these need... Wait, that's wrong. Actually, let's put it on that outside. It also needs that. So this is then the copper and steel. Put them there. And this also outputs onto that belt. Because if you're going to have one inserter, have a million inserters. That's the wrong way around. I knew I'd put it the wrong way around. That. So then the iron plate. Go on that side. Let's get some lights on this. It appears that the coronal mass ejections and the meteorites are like mutually exclusive. So although this is a little bit painful because occasionally one of them drops, you know, where I've not when my gun things are charging, it means that we're not in the stage where we'll get a coronal mass ejection. I say the problem with them is that I've left this quite late. How many have we got now? Oh, we're at 29 already. That's not bad. But we need Coverix to be up and running so that we can really properly support nuclear power. So, which way rounded up all of these? This was the iron plate. And we need that there, that there, that, them, that. Together. So that'll be our iron plate. At some point, I'm going to have to work through how many trains I actually need, because the system's a bit weirdly log jammed because of this thing again. Because it's just like absorbing trains. So have we got an iron plate train anywhere? Because we're not going there. Oh, manually stopped. Why are you manually stopped? You should not be manually stopped. Okay. So that should bring the iron plate in. The iron plate should make this ammo. How quick is that? Do I need blue? Oh, I do. In fact, maybe multiple. Oh, it's because it's got speeds in. Does that still balance? No. Yeah. Cool. This flashing's driving me mad. Right, so that makes... Oh! Oh, it's... Yellow inserters, isn't it? Pesky yellow inserters. Cool, so that's a belt of iron plate, creating yellow ammo. Excellent. Now this, we decided, needed at some point to be red belt. mean, I suppose it doesn't have to be. I could double belt, yellow belt over and, you know, like booster into it, maybe. Bit clunky. Biddly bob. Let's just make some red belt. One of the things that needs to happen with the whole, you know, when I rework this is it needs like proper production of belts and stuff like that, because I anticipate we will be building quite big on Navis, and if not on Navis, then all these other planets that we got to exploit. So having a lot of belt is going to be important. Right. And then I guess I could put exactly the same in thing for now. Except I grabbed the station. Oh, I didn't set just limits to that. No. No. Every time I do these, I forget about not having the limits on, because I don't know, part of my brain assumes it's part of the blueprint, but it wouldn't make sense. It makes sense because it depends on what I'm unloading. Right. Now, have we got a copper train? Or a Cooper train? Okay, set. So, let's have a look. Because we've got 2 there for the green circuits. You're sat at the main base, so what the heck are you doing? Oh, you're red circuits, are you? Okay. Right. Let's build a new train then. But if I send you to get copper plate, are they fueled? So load. That one's fueled. That one's fueled. Okay, that's cool. So we can send you. If we just drop a little bit of. I'm thinking about, because one of the things I'm thinking on this is, you know, if I'm sort of, why the heck is that completely misaligned with the actual thing? I've had that before. Doesn't stick them together properly. Yeah, because if depots are meant to be like how the Factorio devs have been like playing Space Age, I have tried, when I first, you know, was playing, I used to try and do depots because the concept always seemed, you know, cool. And what do I want? I want load rather than unload. And I think I've shown on my Friday Facts, I'd love to set somewhere up that looked like Clapham Junction with just like loads and loads of rail going all over the place and just mad spaghetti mess of rail. Just for the sake of it, really. It's not a good idea, but I think it'd be awesome. But yeah, so I what was I going to say? So no, this doesn't have to be yellow. This doesn't. No. Oh, crikey. This doesn't have to be red belt. It's when it gets on the other side. So that, yes, that's right. Now, do I join it here? I guess that's probably easiest. What was I saying? Completely lost my train of thought. Ironically. Yes, doing depots basically. So if that seems to be a thing that you know, the Factorio devs seem to be doing basically when they play Space Age, then it might be fun messing about with having depots and like using that as the refueling place. You know, you could maybe tack something on here when we have a proper military thing up and running, where it, you know, it uses the nuclear stuff to make, you know, rocket fuel and what have you. Because coal liquefaction is another one I'm hugely reliant on in my builds, and that's not for several ticks. So yeah, I've got to set up that red one, and that's not the one we're going to be working on. So that's a way off, I think. Because what I normally do is I normally use coal liquefaction to make fuel, basically, because you get this weird effect, which is like the most non-real world thing ever. Where basically the more you sort of compress the fuel, the more the more like energy you actually get out of it, which is like breaking, you know, thermodynamics basically. I think I need another steel train, don't I? Yes, I do. And I don't have any carriages. Okay. But yeah, so you get a sort of you know, the more squished up the fuel gets, the more energy it apparently has within it, because obviously they want you to do that, you know, processing thing, just because that's what the games is about. But there's not actually any point, because coal, you know, in a sense, should have as much energy. I think that's right. Anyway, it's certainly the case, I think, for nuclear, that it suddenly magically becomes more powerful. But I haven't actually done the maths, so I might be wrong with it. That's what it always seemed like. It seemed to be more energy in when you convert coal into other things than actual coal has in and of itself. Right, so we have some flashing icons telling me what, but we don't have enough filter inserters. Okay. Oh, and it's actually got one trapped in. Oh, can't have that. 34 up to. So Covrix kicks in for 40, doesn't it? Not that I've got Covrix on the go or available even. That's red tech as well, and 1,500 of them. Crikey. Yeah, so that's a way off. But I think that, where the heck would fuel rods be? There it is. So one. Okay. Could I squeeze in? I could do it by hand, I guess. Why are you completely... Guess it's just too slow, isn't it? I mean, they're doing the stuttery thing, so maybe I should have more things on. But have I got... Yeah, I've only got one stack bonus, and I think... Yeah, there we go. Track behind red as well. Okay. It's almost like I should have progressed to space science properly. Okay. Right, set this steel train up. Right, does this have fueling? I think, yeah, because that's where the fuel is being made, isn't it? Yeah, definitely got fuel there. So we will pop in a soupçon. But yes, I'm thinking a depot, basically. And we have all the trains basically go... It won't be a proper simulation, obviously. Because we don't have the interrupts thing, but... Conceptually, having all the trains go to a depot and seeing how you might have to manage a depot. But then coal fueling is separate in what they've talked about. But, yeah. Right, so... that one... And... that one... Oh, no. That one. Load. All. Empty. Cool. So we got copper coming in now. Iron seems to be taking a while to come... Oh, there we go. Come back. Now, while we're waiting for trains, let us... set up... in fact, let's do both of them. Right. Oh, no. No, no, no. Be ready with now. Okay, so, literally just waiting on steel. I might switch this so it's a priority into the ammo. Oh, cool. Where are you? Oh, it's going to be a while, isn't it? Okay. I'm assuming... Yes, this is all filled up, filled up. Okay. Oh, we've even got a whole load of rockets. I make them for Spidertron, obviously. No, I'd be amazed at when we get Spidertron. That's going to be ages off, but yeah. They'll have stop, and that appears to be because of a lack of sulfur. And why would we have... Oh, I know why we would have a lack of sulfur. Because I completely removed oil. Ha! And in fact, that's all empty now, isn't it? So I can get rid of that. Not that it matters. I was just wondering where we got to. But that will be affecting things like heat shields. Okay. Anyway, how are we doing? How are we doing? Nearly there. Mm-mm-mm. 5k already. 37. Right, let us just fill these in. And I'll gather up what we've got. I'll just do a little potch together. Fuel cell thing. because I'd quite like to get one of these, because it's getting a little bit annoying swapping solar panels out all the time. So, if I... yeah, let's just make as many as we can, sort of thing. So we want that on there. So how many iron plates would... It's just 10, isn't it? Okay. So let's turn that off. Bunch of iron. Yep, that's loads. Plenty. Pop that in there. And hunt round. See what we can grab. So 38, so I missed one somewhere. 40, okay. Put that in there. So that should make, is it 400? Because it's 1 to 10, isn't it? Is it? Let's find it first. There it is. Yes, so 1 makes 10. Okay. So I could set up a separate system for sticking these in just a single chest, I think. So they're a bit more together. Right. Yeah. How many are we making? 40. So I think I only needed 5 for each one. No, 4. So if we grab 8. How many can we can make one now? We need more low density structures then. Okay. We don't appear to have made. Oh. Why aren't you here? Why have you gone there? Why are you going to do that? Because I didn't put training on. Brilliant. Okay. I won't put train limits on any of these. Right, well, in that case... No. I'll send you away. Right, let's go and get the bits we need to make the... whatchamacallit? Second one of them. RTGs. I'm assuming they don't use fuel. I may well be wrong. I will have definitely crash into that. Right. I always love the little pause they do when you do the job they were going to do. There's like a... oh! moment to it. So it should be bringing me low density structures. Yes. Right. Let's see if they're the same size and etc. Yes. So I can't actually fit a second one in. No problem. How far off is... Power armor. Mark 2. No, crikey. Oh, in fact, that's the science pack we've got, though. So not that far off. Okay. Should I build it now, then? In fact, it's probably, I've probably not got any. So I don't think I'm putting them into... don't think I've put them in a chest, basically. Oh, that's going to be ages. Yeah. Okay. What we can do is just set up the belts to load the train. So we've at least got some stuff. What I think I am going to do is set this train up in such a way because I do have a whole like wall military system in my blueprints, but it is oh, I didn't have that switched on. Right, okay. Yeah, I've got a whole system, you know, that's like self-sustaining, basically. But it's very bot-based. It's very based on the assumption that a train can just turn up and dump a load of stuff and bots distribute it around all of the gun turrets and etc, etc. So it will not work. It will not work. I guess the other thing we could do is maybe start adding extra things here. We now have what should we call it? Sulfur and all that sort of stuff. As well. These are quite good ones to copy paste as well because the bots can't build the bottom part basically, so it doesn't accidentally order up, you know, another green circuits train, for example. So I'll put 3 of them in. Because we need like stone, you know, stone brick, heat, stone tablets. So that's 3. We also need. I don't know if we need acid. Don't think we do. Because I want to build a battery one. But we need the sulfur for like the heat shields. And other things, obviously. They also can't build the stations, I don't think, because I think I'm the only one carrying stations. Now, what I'm thinking actually, maybe, well, not to delete the garage, but maybe if I don't need 6. Just pop on some chests here. I'll manually put the... well, I will. I'll do it off stream. I'll manually put in the artillery in there. So then these first couple of wagons fill up with artillery. In fact, maybe I could turn them into artillery wagons. That's a bit risky. No, let's not do that. I'll do it more in a controlled way, I think. But yeah, so I will manually do those. Because weirdly they only stack to 1. Ah! Nuclear ammo. Excellent. Excellent. Here you go, you see. Non-corporeal asteroids. Okay, that. No. That. Now this needs fuel. Can't you use uranium as fuel? They're a weird thing that you can literally just stick it in. Let's see. No? Or is it the ore? No. What can be used? No. Okay. Not at all. Apparently I can use Vitamelange nuggets though. Cool. As you do. Right. See, the problem with putting this here is that they're not getting down that far. Okay. Got loads of those though. I could probably build another one of these. So I want to put one in this as well, at the very least. Oop. Excellent. Cool. And then swap that back over. Nice. You're at the final. 100, 200, close to 300. And that's probably what we'll end up with, I think. Cool. So there is some ready to go. It'll fill this train up with ammo steadily. By the time I've kind of messed about with all the other stuff, hopefully that will be done. That'll be full rather. And so we can then use it for extending our walls, etc. Excellent. Now, half an hour left. Shall I think about this? Shall I think about this? Because there's a couple of ways I can do it, basically. There's like the super crude way, which is basically that I put some splitters here, maybe. Could I do it with splitters? Yeah, I could do it very crudely with like prioritize splitters. And so when when these are full, when there's there's no train, or the train's full, these are completely full, it sends it down instead, to some landfill thing, and I don't know what the recipe requires. It requires a recycling facility. Am I even building recycling facilities? I don't think I am. Might have to handcraft them. And it just literally sticks it in, basically, an assumption that that will keep everything flowing. So we just need to be able to eat 4 lanes of each material. And it ensures that it doesn't back up. Basically, that's the super crude way of doing it. Fancier solution. Well, as I say, it turns out I can't turn it into scrap. Fancier solution is basically to send it to a facility that kind of, so some logic on here that basically opens a second, like a drop-off station for these. No, that wouldn't work, would it? I think I'm going to do super crude. I mean, that's usually what I do anyway, isn't it? Let's be frank. The coal's the trickier one, I would say, because you can't landfill coal. But of course, hopefully, we can maybe set up a coal liquefaction thing that might be a good way of eating up coal. Okay, so if I'm going super crude, I probably need more splitters, to be honest with you. I will need some stack inserters, I think. And then these recycling facilities, which, as I say, I do not think I'm actually making. Let's have a look. Is it that one there? Have I got any of them? Have I got 5? No, I've got 1. So no, I'm not making them, am I? Oh, crikey, that's a complicated recipe. Wonder if there's anywhere here I'm already doing stuff. With big electric motors. Where are they? They're there. So am I taking them off? So going with batteries and green circuit, that's probably not. No, not similar enough. Where else? Oh, that's just the other side. Anyway, you there, but I couldn't fit anything else in there if I wanted to, I don't think. Concrete, steel, big electric, concrete, steel, big electric motors. What would it be missing if it was here then? Red circuits and heat shields. Probably be easier / better. I say that, but aren't we basically out of heat shields because we've got no sulfur? I mean, those are heat shields there. None of these are using big electric motors then. I wonder how many barrels I've now got in space. Good old space barrels, eh? Feels like this would be the place to add it on as a messy thing. Oh well. Let's just see. I mean, I can't make them because I've not got any heat shields. So let's go and That's a point. Can I rearrange this to... Don't think I can I? See, if I want to put legs in... Ah, I could put the batteries down the side then, maybe. Where's it gone? There it is. Yeah, I'll do. Right, where's my heat shields? Over here. Grab a bunch of them. That'll probably have, yeah, inventory exploded. So, make 5 of them. Okay. Excuse me. Right. So only got 20 minutes left, but as I say, we'll just go with a super crude, you know, overflow type system to try and stop it from backing up more than anything. Tomorrow then, I will probably focus on the science, basically. So I think we're at the stage where we're almost sort of kind of prepped with everything kind of ready to make science. Certainly do red, green, blue should be doable. Oops. Blue should be doable. Because we've got soul for advanced circuits. Multi-cylinder engines are basically just iron and steel. And then the complicated one obviously will be the rocket science. But because it means launching rockets basically. But we may not quite get that far. Right, so if we just pop in over here, maybe if I do it that way, that way, that way, that way, something here, so, like, so, it's a second there. Okay, and then these will need to be prioritised to the right. Now, how much does this actually eat? If you are... Oh! Oh no, that's in there, isn't it? There we go. So, stone. How quickly do you eat through stone? In terms of transport belts... Oh, that's iridite. That's not stone. Oh, does it just use the regular? I guess it does, doesn't it? Okay, so we need to use regular assemblers on this, but then... I mean, I know it needs like 50, so it's actually going to be a struggle to get the material in, rather than... Because it's more to do with how quickly my assemblers can actually... not assemblers, inserters can put things in. I think we will... Let's put it a bit down the way, just to give ourselves the classic bit of working room. But yeah, as I say, this is more about... Maybe if I use a substation, that would be a little bit easier. Processing the material rather than, you know, getting it into an assembler, essentially. So let's put it there. And then see about... Maybe we also have a snack inserter. Oops. I got red belt, obviously, so do that. But what I'm thinking is that enough? Inserter power. I don't think it is, but to get it all in. Because the other option is you can turn it into sand, can't you? Which is like less efficient as a recipe, but crushing it. So it's 200 sand, basically. And I think one sand... Is it 4 to 1? I don't think it is it? Yeah. Makes 2 sand, so it's like 50% of efficiency. Oh. Helps if you put a... I'm just going to put them in a chest for now. But I think it probably eventually needs to go on like a train or something, so that I can move landfill where I need to, depending on what, how long it takes to get bots. Loggy, loggy network. What was I doing? So I was trying to put that in there, but I don't really need to do it that quickly, do I? Because it's, yeah, you see, I'm not actually getting it in quick enough. But it's cool because it is fully eating the belt, and that's what we want, basically. So, another one of these. Except like that. Oops. Okay. Now, essentially need the same thing on each of them, but then I need to work out how the recycling works. Doodly doodly doodly. Excellent. Okay. It's coming in already. Go. And this was always a small job, this isn't, so that's why it's, odds and sods and bits and bobs in this stream. Because it's just things I've not quite managed to do when I've been playing through. Feels like I've... Well, let's leave the uranium. The coal I don't know, as I say. I just need to find a way of using it, because I can't stick it in landfill. I can't believe this is what he's intending, I'll be honest. I can't see that this is... Arundel can't be intending that everyone just makes millions of tons of landfill. That just seems strange. So there's got to be something more to it. I did notice also on the tech tree it's like a matter equivalent, like Factorio 2 has. So I wonder if it's intended more like that it will just sort of... Oh look, those aren't actually... fully processing through, are they? Oh no, you know it is. Kinda-ish. Like reverse sushi, this, isn't it? Taking out a hugely mixed belt and turning it into everything else. Like sorting it out, basically. Here we go! Trains coming in, doing their thing. That's what we like to see. Right, so, how does the maths work on this thing? First off, let us give it some power. So, this bad boy, how do you work? Let's do a subby as well. How do you work? You would take iron ore. Oh, it's 50 as well. Okay. Given it's super long, I wonder if it'll process an entire belt on its own. Entire set of 4 belts. So 3.33 transport belts. So nearly. Okay. Let's do 2 of them then. And then maybe have double belt there. Single belt there. Maybe just sort of being silly now. That. Let's go with the full set, just to be stupid. Oh, I can't, because... Okay. Belt silliness. Okay. And then... I guess I might as well just whack it in. Go to as many chesticles as I can. In fact, let's not put that there. Let's put that there. And there. And then I can move that one there. So it's just going to chuck it in a chest. See, we've had all of this stone coming through, and we've made, you know, not even a stack in each chest. It becomes a very hungry recipe. Which is fine, because I want to do whacking great islands in the middle of this to make nuclear power. I need to do exactly the same thing, don't I, for copper? Let's take it from there. No. Let's take it from there. Boop. Because it's like a 1% chance on the uranium. So we have 672, where I've filled these chests like 4 times over. But eventually that will fill up. Eventually this train... I have a coal unload, don't I? I have one for that. But we want to get rid of that. Because I don't want to... So I want to try maybe experiment with a depot approach and refuel them all. I need to replace these steel chests. Steel thing. Oh, we're out of belt. Okay. So I need to do that anyway. Landfill copper. Is that 50 as well? That's 50 as well. Okay, quick trick back. Get the belts. Fill up. Finish off rather, not fill up. And then, which way am I going? I'm going... And then we'll call it a day. I might do some more play. I'm quite keen to work on this script. I'd really quite like to do the record during the week. And then edit it whenever I can. As I say, next week is... What actually happened? I wasn't massively impressed. I've done all this overtime for work. It's been really unhealthy. Really not fun. And I requested having 4 days extra at Easter. We get 2 days bank holiday in the UK. Good Friday and Easter Monday. And I requested having 2 days after Easter a while back, and that was granted. So that's when I'm going to be doing my normal stuff, because I'm going to say visit family on the actual Easter, but I still need to do things like washing and ironing and cleaning the flat and domestic stuff. So I took the 2 days. And then I had to do this emergency extra work, basically. It's all on the same project. But, I say the 2 days that I'd originally requested were granted quite some time ago. And then I had to do extra, even more. The most horrendous weekend of work. 20 hours I did. So I requested extended it even more, 2 days before Easter, as well as 2 days after, and was declined. I can still take the time, I just can't take it then, because it eats into the time available to do my actual job in a way that my boss was not happy with. I fully understand her position. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging on her. I do fully understand where she was coming from, and I do kind of agree. But that still means I'm knackered, and I haven't got. I'm not going to get a chance to recover. But also, that was when I'd been planning to do this whole record, because it was 2 days, that weren't filled with domestic rubbish. So I thought, right, well, perfect time to finish the script off, do the recording, do the editing, not put too much pressure on myself. And instead, it's been denied. So I'm just going to have to fit it in when I can. I will, however, have even more time off at the end of April, so if I don't get it done before then, that's when I will do it. The risk with it is, of course, that we get a lot more detail in the Friday Facts, that we suddenly get a new Friday Facts that explains how science works, and they reveal Bacchus, and there's nothing left to speculate about there, and etc, etc, which would be delightful. But it would mean that video was, the script would be pointless, or chunks of it would need rewriting at the very least. So yes, I'm quite keen to do it soon, because it's quite a good idea, and I've already written 6 pages. But I don't know when I'm going to fit it in. This one doesn't have a recipe, does it? Cool, so that should now be a little bit more self-sustaining. It isn't, because, you know, eventually the uranium will fill up in 1,000,000 years or so. What I could do, I guess, is give that the unload station. Full and empty. But as I say, I mean, you know, it's been there for hours and hours and hours, and it's done that tiny slice. So by the time it gets to there, I wouldn't be surprised if that station is full, basically. The other one, of course, is the coal. How full are you? And I say I could give that the... That other station doesn't actually have... What does it? Does this... Oh, it does have a train in it. Okay. And that's because of that one. But we need... I mean, we need a coal unload here, I guess, anyway. Probably. To make stuff. But I don't know about that. Speaking of landfill, let's see if we can't fill some of this in. We do it to sort of there at the very least. Is this all filled already? I think it should be. Cool. Okay. And I will grab what landfill. Whoops. I've already made. Let's just clear a bit of space there. Oh, there's no remote view in SpaceX, I suppose. Is there easy quick travel or teleporters or something? So, yes and no. There is actually remote view. So, it to the way what it does, it cheats it basically. So, if I go to here, right, then this looks like the map, but it's not the map. If you look at this, there's a copy of the player basically. So this is the player, just like not showing the player. So it's like God mode to a degree. And so I can actually open machines. Now it doesn't have an inventory. That's the disadvantage, which is fair because it would be weirdly instantly teleporting stuff around. But it gives you these, you know, bits and pieces that you got, and you can actually cheat things into this inventory. It's a bit tricky, but you know, it gives you wires basically so that you can connect up circuit networks. But I can actually interact with these as if I was the player. I say I don't have an inventory, so I can't put modules in and stuff like that. Which is what we will get with the Space Age version. But it does sort of give you remote access and remote control. So, you know, I could take those out. What would be a better one to sort of take out? So if I take out those circuits, I think, and if I then come up here, it won't let me do it actually. Okay, that's interesting. So it's not taking them out, but it is taking them out. Where have those gone then? That's a bit confusing. I don't know where those have ended up. Interesting. So it sort of gives you a sort of remote view. And again, this is one of these things I was saying about our Space Age is sort of, you know, SpaceX like in the game proper, because clearly that idea of proper remote view is something that's in SpaceX already. So I don't know to what extent it's in other games. But yes, you are affected. This is the player avatar. See, but it's like I say, it's like God mode. So I can go to other planets as well. I mean, I can't do anything on them, but I can go to, I don't know, Aves, and you know, if there were stuff here, I could interact with it. But of course, I say it's limited because the game doesn't allow you to do certain things, like your inventory and stuff like that. So it is limited. But what you get eventually, as I understand it, and I haven't actually looked at the tech, but we could do that now. I don't think you get teleporters. Oh, you do? Okay, I did not know that was a thing. Okay. Unlocks other teleport. This technology does nothing on its own, but is a gateway to other technologies. Arco link storage. Which says that maybe that's coming later then, because that doesn't. I mean, technologies is plural, isn't it? But that's only one technology. and that's just a container. Oh, so it looks like maybe you can container linked by extra dimensional space to other containers. The links of the container depend. So it looks like you could move stuff around remotely. Not yourself though. Interesting. But what you get much earlier than that is this, a space elevator. And I was saying this, that I would quite like this to be in the game as like a speculation thing, having never encountered this in this mod. But this would be really cool. So, construction space elevator cables becomes possible. So that makes... can take wires and trains between a planet or moon's surface and its orbit. See space elevators. Okay. So what's the difference between space elevator heavy space elevator cable? I'm not quite sure I understand what the difference is between those. 20 space elevator cables. Space elevator cables. Maybe it just gives you more or something. But yes, you get space elevator. And basically, as I understand it, yeah, wires and trains. So you can use that then. You know, they just introduced the remote radar. That's basically the same thing. That it allows you to do signals at distance. So you could put the cables, meaning, you know, red and green cables, through the space elevator and communicate directly with all your outposts. You know, between surface and orbit, basically. But also trains can travel through them. So what you effectively end up doing, and it's a long way into the game as I understand it, but what you effectively end up doing is, instead of using cargo rockets, you just revert back to using trains, because you can do trains in space. Now obviously between planets you still need to use cargo rockets, but it's one of the things, I mean, when I found out about that, I sort of ended up thinking, well, the cargo rockets are kind of a waste then, because they take an enormous amount of stuff. And it's like wasteful and difficult not to send full cargo rockets, but they hold a huge amount. And there should be like an intermediate cargo rocket, like a small cargo rocket basically. So this thing has like storage of 500. So if you think about it, you go from cargo rockets taking 500 at a go back to trains, which take, you know, a couple of thousand at a go. But of course trains, you know, can flow continuously basically. So yeah, it's a strange sort of weird thing of you go from the mass storage to small storage. I've hit N again. There you go. No. Okay. So it's a strange sort of idea. Right, so, yes. Schedule, if that's coming up. I can't tell you how long it took me to fix the Stream Deck. I'm not massively... everyone, you know, kind of loves them and uses them, and they do have a lot of advantages, but it's not at all well integrated with anything. And it feels like the software is just not very good. You know, it's not particularly well written. It's not particularly... I don't know how to phrase it, like... Not well... I don't mean well maintained, but it doesn't play well with a lot of stuff. But it seems like it's like a really powerful tool, but it's like a really powerful tool that takes a hell of a lot of work to get going. So yeah, I'm kind of glad I got a mini one, a little one, because I mean, it's blooming expensive as well, you know, for what it is. But yes, anyway, that's a separate moan. Schedule, yes. So the point is that, as I've said earlier, we will not be streaming, or I will not be streaming next weekend because it is Easter, and I am visiting some family. So there will be no stream on Saturday and Sunday. The Friday Facts, however, will happen, but it will not happen on Friday. So that video will be delayed until I get back after my leave. So it should be going live either on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how things work out. So if you want to check out any of the VODs for this series, for any of my Factorio series, there's loads of them. Megabase and the Blueprints one I mentioned, and Aesthetic and No Spoon Run. So if you just want some background noise in particular, then you can find those there. There are also other series, Satisfactory, Tectonica, what's it called? Dyson Sphere program, several Dyson Sphere programs. Unlike that, the most recent series of Dyson Sphere will be coming to an abrupt end because I decided I kind of had a bit of a tantrum. I wasn't impressed with the combat update. It feels so wimpy and pointless that I didn't really fancy playing through again with just that in play. So that will be coming to an end, and that's where this series comes in. But yes, so all sorts of VODs on there, but also, as mentioned, every Friday I do a read-through and a load of speculation on the latest Factorio Friday Facts. It's an enormously fun video to do, and people seem to enjoy watching it and commenting and offering their opinions in, which is something I really like to see. I really enjoy reading people's ideas and sort of bouncing off them. So if that's anything that would interest you, then you can find all of those videos archived on my YouTube channel, which is Trismegistus. So I think that's it. Yes, so no streams next week, and back the week after. Friday Facts video delayed. Okay, so if you have been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it, and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Factorio. Thanks for watching. Cheers.